You claim and deem yourself to be God, but yet you're a God that has failed. Why is the use of the word colonize?
I believe our purpose is to just keep ourselves busy till we die.
Why not inspire?
They're crucifying me.
Yeah, tearing you apart.
Say crucify.
No, I'm not going to say that. What's the difference between belief and inspiration? We question God.
Remove that. Just be as blunt as it sounds.
You failed.
Sure.
Do you see black people as lesser than?
Stop forcing us to be one thing, because we're not.
Wait a minute. I can't get the amount of money that Zuckerberg has and all these billionaires have.
You ask out of concern.
Yes.
Thanks, dog. I'm subscribing. Leeso, where did you grow up? What are you about? What are your passions? What are you chasing? As young as you are at 23.
Right. I grew up in multiple locations, but predominantly in Durban. I was raised by my grandmother, who tragically passed away in late 2021.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, it was.
That was your mom, basically.
Yeah, it was a bit difficult because she passed away at the time where I actually wanted to tell her that I'm doing film.
Yeah.
And I'm taking it serious because TPN, the channel, right?
The gospel channel.
Yeah.
Is it a gospel channel? It's music, but also church.
Yeah.
It's like a religious Christian.
It's a religious, channel. And she used to watch it, and I would be the person that would say, no, Vulelani Koku TPN, you know, at home, like Kwamashu, Avulu TPN, and she would see the behind the scenes, you know, before the pastors come on, the lights and everything, and we'll explain to her like, Koko, dancing at different weekends, and then Koko gave me the advice that I still hold today. She was like, do what's in your heart. She gave me, I only asked her this once. I was like, nah, it's Ilendo, because, you know, being a settler, and I wasn't living with my grandmother at the time, 2021, I moved out, right? And she was like, just do it, you know, what's in your heart. That was like, when I started Banteri, it was like May, when I started Banteri, this channel, well, the one with the smile. And I just wanted to tell her, like, yo, I'm doing this.
Your boy is doing it.
I'm doing this. I'm doing it. I'm putting every ounce of money I have. I'm risking. Please don't tell my dad. My dad is going to flip out. You know, I wanted to say that, but I did not tell her that. And I think that's one of the few regrets I have in life. That I did not get to tell my grandmother that I'm doing something that I've always dreamed of doing in my existence. Like this, as small as it is.
Yeah. Why do you think you wanted to do this production? This is film production.
It is.
Why do you think you wanted to do film production?
So I'd watch, you know, Generations, I would predict the storylines, you know, when remember Bridget and Tumsani?
Sure.
And at the time, our parents did not like watching, like us watching those stories because it was an abuse, GBV at the time, but it wasn't called GBV, it was still abuse.
Yeah.
Abuse towards women. But I mean, I would watch, because I wanted to know, because the story. How are we going to complete such a complex story? And I'll compare the way they write to Generations to the way they do WWE. And I was like, that's when the comparison began. Like, yo, it's so in depth. These people are wearing underpants and pants. And then you get to Generations. And then it ends in J. And then I started like, I would go to school and ask these questions. And I was told, I went at all.
I find some of the most successful people sound crazy. And I remember, it was a character, of course, Barker Haynes, on his Dingo.
Yes, Dingo, yeah.
Once said a line, I don't know if it was to Lee Haynes or to his secretary, I think it was Harriet. But he said the difference between insanity and genius is success.
That's
it. Elon Musk wants to take us to Mars. Now you could be sitting here telling me, you know, Pen, I used to watch rockets as a child, and I want to take human beings to Mars.
Yeah.
And people say you're crazy. Do you think you'll ever own reality? Do you think you'll ever accept reality, or are you happy to live in the space where I want to have crazy ideas because they're fascinating, they stimulate me. I love the story. Whether it's real or not does not matter, but I see it affects people's lives. And I'm willing to do this till the day I pass on, like Stan Lee and Marvel Comics. Yeah. This is going to be the world I live in because it feels better than what other people look miserable. I'm fucking happy because I get to manufacture stimulating story.
You're sitting in Banteri, they will tell you, they're right here. They will tell you, my first episode, we had load shedding. We came to this very room and we filmed regardless.
In the dark, or did you make a plan?
We made a plan. In light of your question about owning reality, the person behind you who's rolling that camera is my production coordinator. We have arguments in the AMs about him saying the numbers matter. And I say the numbers don't matter. And he says the number matters. I'm like, the numbers don't. The people do. So you're sitting in an idea room. Right now, this was an idea. This fascinates me. So owning reality, what is reality? To the most powerful people, it's different. Reality is different. So what is reality? You make that shit. Sorry to swear if my parents are watching, but you make that, but you honestly make that your own. Yesterday, I DM'd you, like years ago. You're like, and I told you when I met you, like a pipe dream. Pipe. You didn't have, it seems like a pipe dream. I don't agree with majority the shit that you say sometimes. And you, please, sorry to swear. I get it, but he understands. You know, I know you don't agree with me. Well, I don't agree with you. The things that you say about black people, that's why I'm wearing all black. The reason why I'm wearing all black, yeah, penuelism, shout out, gang.
What's up?
But also, the reason why is because this is, I don't own this. This is a brand, Endless Thread. This is birthed out in room back room, with 2 sewing machines and a dream. Can I say to that person, reality to you is you are in a back room, you should go work at a retail job. No shade on people working in retail jobs. What is reality then? So you're telling me to own reality. My reality is if I'm rolling. When I say be rolling, that to me is reality. When I'm making my own story, that is reality to me. I'm speaking like this, people think I'm putting it on, that to me is my reality. May I do a fucks with it? No, it's reality though, because I get to own it, but I decide what is my reality. I get to decide. And I wish that more and more kids that are creatives can actually understand the power that they have. Stop being a victim. This was birthed out of what, 4K a month? I'm not gonna tell y'all I make my money. But I make things happen. Got off 4K.
Are you willing to be Vincent van Gogh? So Vincent made a lot of artworks in his life. Got really frustrated and depressed at some point, had fucking chopped his ear off.
Damn.
And he became a super successful artist after his death.
Great.
What I'm asking is, are you willing to live and die poor for your vision, for your lack of reality, for your insanity, for your art, for your dream? And do you feel that money taints dreams? Because there's a potential future world where kids get to live out their imaginations and their creativity without the limitation of money. Today, like I said, the line between insanity and genius is money. Elon Musk is not crazy because he's rich. If he wasn't, his mom would be like, you know, Elon's got these crazy dreams of building electric cars, but shame, you know, we are kind of shame boy, 5,000 a month, we are shlanganisa. But because he's worth hundreds of billions, all of a sudden he's a genius. You sound crazy now until you become successful and you blow up. Are you willing to die poor for your dream? Because there's always that chance. Do you think money taints?
Money does not taint. Money is the rewarder of the dream. That's how I see it.
But there's a lack of money in igniting.
I think Kala Ngoguti, we just hired these microphones that we're using. But here we are today. So tell that.
I'm asking this because of the conversation with you and your coordinator. The whole thing of numbers, because it's a money thing.
It's a money thing.
And you're like, no, it's about people. It's like, but it sounds like you don't mind poverty.
I don't mind it.
And when there's no money, people that need the money are frustrated. Like, fuck, can we just make some money?
That's why
I'm asking if it taints the dreams, because for a lot of kids, the reason their dreams, you spoke about kids, the reason their dreams disappear, evaporate, is because everyone tells them, be realistic. And what that means is do the thing that has a high probability of making you money.
Yeah, do the thing that pays. My mom would say the same thing. But my mom, in the same breath, would say, Then I may chase opportunity, my mom. My mom being the #1 fan. Just execute, just do. As you were telling me earlier, show up. I showed up. The thing is, I understood this from the concept of WWE with champions, how champions are made. Do whatever it takes to win that championship. People may call Edge a cheater, now they're calling him a legend. Mr. Money in the Bank. He finds an opportunity, he wins a champion.
Do you not think this money thing is what destroys children's dreams? Because you're crazy. The next child,
don't call me crazy.
The next child,
because
the next child is not crazy, but then they give up on their dreams because they're not crazy, because of the money.
I understand.
You're willing to be poor. The next child who's sane is not willing to be poor, but then they kill their dream.
Listen, I'm willing to be poor, but I know I'm not going to be poor. That's why I'm willing to be.
So what happens to the other child, you think?
That child is that child. I'm this child.
Because there's a follow-up question to that one from me.
Right. So the reason why I say it's a rewarder, please question that. Why do I say it's a rewarder of dreams? Money. I call it face papers. And humans are obsessed with face papers. And I understand that in order for some things to happen, the studio was paid for at the end of the day. Yeah. People need those face papers. But for me, if that's what it takes, let me figure out then how to get these face papers. Then, do I need an investor? Or what, do I need to work up? Whatever the thing may be, some other people reward you with these face papers. And I understand that. So yes, I'm not going to starve from it. Hell no. I refuse to be poor, but I'm willing though to delay my gratification because I know that it won't be forever. It won't be, it's a rewarder because I studied this history, even though I'm not a great memorizer of it, but I do study it. When I see people building sculptures, I still say today, why in South Africa in 2023, we don't see sculptures being concocted, big, huge buildings. We are one of the most creative countries in Africa. Why we are not seeing this? Why is a wonder of South Africa a mountain? I know you don't believe in God, you believe you're God, right? I believe in God, not because of Christian home, but because of things that happen in life. But then God allows people to carve things and make things and build things. Why are we not building, bro? To many people, money is a tainter of dreams. But to me, no. I'm not ludicrous, I understand things, yes. Okay? However, in my world, if you had to look in postmodern terms, in my world, subjectively speaking, no. When I tell my younger brothers, listen, go for whatever that needs to be done. Today you're going to be an athlete, tomorrow you're going to be, do it. But do one thing for me that I never did when I was young, and that's to do things to the best of your ability in whatever you do.
I intentionally use the word crazy, by the way, and I'm happy to explain.
Yeah.
My follow-up question is, many young Leesos out there, what advice do you give them so that they don't lose their dreams? So that they don't feel that money is a gatekeeper. So that we're not celebrating mountains because they've actually created stuff. And that's why I call it crazy, because to the ordinary man out there, it's that. And those ordinary people, one of the topics we're meant to speak about is education. / schooling.
Yes.
The whole system is built to almost remind kids every day that this is what sanity looks like, this is what insanity looks like. And if you do this, you're not okay and we need to fix you. So I'm just trying to figure out, if you could own, I'm crazy, sure, I have dreams, I won't let money be a gatekeeper. How do you advise young children? Don't let go of your creativity and your dreams. Don't let money gatekeep. What do you say to them?
Do what it takes, because you know what it takes to achieve. Heartfelt, honestly. Someone may tell you, Penuel, you need to do this. Do what it takes. Figure out what it takes. Because sometimes you think you know, but actually look and map out at something close. Like, you were asking me about perfection earlier on.
Yeah.
Again, this is where it comes from, because when I have perfection as my template, or the people that have been successful, that is my way of saying, do I have what it takes? You know, I tell my brother T, I tell him, what grade do you want? Right now, I ask him, what grade do you want? He tell me, listen, I'm looking for an A star, whatever the star may be, right? And I tell him, do you have what it takes? He's like, what do you mean? I'm like, figure that out. What does it take for you to get an A star? And I think that's the part that's different about me, that sets me apart, you know what I'm saying? Like I can actually check and look, yo, what does it take to actually have a fully fledged team? That it means that you don't sleep at night. You have to burn a midnight oil. You have to research. You have to know how lighting works. You have to know how these angles work. You have to constantly be up in your game, study the craft. That's what it takes. So for you, asking me, are you willing to be poor? I'm saying, if that's what it takes, I just know it's not going to end up like that because, again, money is a reward of creativity. I mean, things that you're wearing, that's creative. That tattoo on your arm, that's creative. You paid that, you rewarded that person for doing that thing. If I want to have, so schooling, education, school facilitates your gift.
It's supposed to.
It's supposed to.
Sure.
And I'm grateful for my parents because they're doing what they love. My mom does what she loves. My dad does what he loves.
Yeah.
So it's not as difficult to explain. It's just that to my dad, about, you know, the paying of the bills, of course that matters. And that's where I also look at what does it take for you to make money. It takes perfection, but it just takes you being good.
Do you think big dreams always have to come at a big cost? I'm thinking of a lot of the successful people. Steve Jobs was an orphan, number one, was adopted, dropped out of school, tertiary, was squatting, traveled, got into some yoga, meditation, guru stuff. Elon Musk had to go into America via Canada, worked on farms. Tyler Perry at some point was broke, had to hustle, had to beg.
Yeah.
Some of the biggest success stories come with like a lot of pain and struggle. And do you think it's ever possible to have a big dream become ignited without a big cost? Which means if a child has a big dream, they need to know it's going to cost them a lot.
Going back to, do you have what it takes? How are champions made?
There's no other way
No,
but to pay a high cost. Which means if someone's not willing to pay the cost,
I tried, Penuel.
that's probably what scares people, right?
Yeah. That's going back to how champions are made. Do you have what it takes? Don't get those into it. It's so intertwined.
So the reality is most people will never become big
That's the truth.
because they're not willing to pay the cost.
Yeah. Going back to the Bible. What does the Bible say about following me? Do you remember that?
No.
He actually says, you must count the cost. I'm paraphrasing, but he actually says you must count the cost.
This is Jesus
Jesus.
speaking to disciples,
Yes.
potential followers.
Yeah.
It's fun he's got disciples and followers, and today on social media we have followers.
Followers.
It's crazy.
And you trying to make disciples.
It's my insanity.
It's
So
your
speak about insanity, it's my insanity.
It's your
And
insanity, yeah.
when I looked at the various types of insanity we could find, there's a dollar billionaire in Silicon Valley called Peter Thiel. He was the first big investor in Facebook at $500,000. Sean Parker of Napster helped Mark Zuckerberg and Eduardo Saverin meet him. But he's written a book called 0 to 1. And he tells it gives a speech in Chicago, I think, where he speaks about anyone who starts a business must strive for a monopoly. Otherwise, they're not serious. This concept of competition is bullshit. But in that same conversation, he speaks about if you want to build a monopoly, you need to go to spaces that are not fully explored. And he says a lot of spaces in the world have been explored, but some haven't. And he says that's how they came up with PayPal, with Elon Musk and the rest of, and Reid Hoffman and the rest of the PayPal mafia. I've wanted to build a monopoly in whatever. He goes on to make this example of Facebook and Microsoft. Mark Zuckerberg became the next Bill Gates, youngest billionaire, whatever. But he couldn't become the next Bill Gates by copying Bill Gates. He couldn't build a software company. So he built a social network platform. And he's saying if you're trying to copy those guys, you've already missed it. You need to go into the space that is rare, unexplored, insane. I want to take people to Mars. Who is competing with Elon? No one. Arguably now Jeff Bezos, but no one. So with me, I'm like, do I want to become president of the country? So Nelson Mandela became the first democratic black.
Yeah.
So that was a rare space, and he monopolized. That's why he's a god today. He's got statues and shit.
Yeah.
Aliko Dangote, wealthiest black man on the planet. Oprah Winfrey, first black female billionaire, whatever. I looked at a lot of these things. Do I want to become king of the Zulus? Which I still kind of toy with today.
Haibo.
Becoming a modern king of the Zulus and defeating the current king, but not with weapons. Mark Zuckerberg has built arguably the biggest country in the world, but it's online and it's called Facebook.
Yeah.
But he has got more information on individuals than most countries. He can get you to give him certain data. He raises more money than most countries, and he has influence. Through algorithms, he can make you behave in a certain way, have challenges, bring in 10-year challenge. This is how I looked 10 years ago. So he gets you to send him IDs without begging you to come and stand in a home affairs queue. It's crazy. So I've come up with a lot of ideas. I can discuss them on another day. But I was like, when I look at what's most valuable in the world, land is huge. Natural resources, gold, silver, platinum, that's huge. The animals are pretty dope. And the Africans, arguably, our wealth was in cattle. So hey, do I want to have the biggest cattle farm on the continent, like current beef? And I was like, when I explore a lot of the influences, human beings are the beginning and the end of true wealth, in my opinion. Today, people have power in money and religion, arguably culture. People will do crazy things for their religious beliefs. But religion is not as powerful as money, because people will forsake their religions for money. People will forsake their families. They will change their names. They will leave their nationality. They will sleep with a certain person. They will get into a certain job. They will move drugs.
Countries and continents.
They will. You tell a Christian Muslim person that if you leave Durban and move to Cape Town, you will make 500,000 a month. They will move. You can affect a person's life in real time. If you tell a lady, if you date, marry this guy, you will become rich. She will intrinsically leave every animal aspect of her. But that guy was good looking and he was athletic, he was strong, he speaks well, but he doesn't have money. But you're a Muslim, no, I'll convert to Judaism because that guy has money. So I was like, I could become rich, but a lot of people are going for that. It's a saturated market. It's what people are fighting for almost every day. I want to take your money and have more money than you. When you look at the religions, at least the biggest ones, Judaism weirdly is big because it's old, but it's actually got a very small population. Judaism, Islam, Christianity. Then there's others. They are thousands, allegedly thousands of years old, 2,000 to 4,000 years. And in my head, I'm like, how many people are trying to build a religion?
Oh, so you figured out religion for you, it's a way to monopolize, or well, if that's even a word.
To build a monopoly.
To build a monopoly.
Because if I can get people to become Penuelists and to worship me as their God and do what I say, you can bring Facebook, you can bring Twitter, you can bring money, you can bring halal and kosher, you can bring nationality. But people will say, I'm willing to die. I'm willing to move. I'm willing to dress a certain way, eat certain foods, because this is the beginning of my existence and belief. And if I get it right with 1,000 people, that becomes my power source. Because in those 1,000 people, if Elon Musk is a Penuelist, if Jeff Bezos is a Penuelist, if Aliko Dangote, Oprah Winfrey are Penuelists, what people call Illuminati and the Freemasons, the Rockefellers, the Rothschilds, if they are Penuelists and they've plugged in, I get to influence the world. If you look at the Jewish faith, it is smaller than the Zulus. There are like 18 million Zulu people. There are like 14 million Jews. But if you look at their impact on the world, media, money flow, music, politics, the arts, but they are such a relatively small group. I'm like, if I can do that, I think It will have been a nice way to keep myself busy on earth before I die.
Now, my question to you, do you have what it takes?
I believe I'm proving it. I believe I'm proving it every day because there are people that dress up in a certain way and let people know. There are people that are taking care of their bodies and eating differently because I said so. Mm-hmm. There are people that are starting certain jobs, certain businesses because I say so. There are people giving away their things as minimalists because I say so, which it's a game. Face papers. Money is not real.
It's crazy.
But the type of power that has been proven in that thing. The problem is a lot of people end up doing horrible things. I'm trying, like Jesus, and it's crazy because you'd think Christians would understand what I'm doing. They'd be like, oh, there's that crazy boy who behaves like my Lord and Savior. Mm-hmm. He's going around saying he's God. My Lord and Savior is to say he's God's son. He's preaching love, service, being good, taking care of your health. If there was ever a Christian, it's Pen. He's acknowledging that he is God. He's God's son, and he's doing godly work because he's not going around telling people to do dumb shit. He's not telling people to eat grass and doom their faces and to kill. He is telling people to actually love their families and do good shit. Like, it's wild. And I understand because, again, when you look at who built the monopolies, the Jesus character, he was alone and he was crucified. And it may not be literal today, maybe like a Tupac, but it can be figurative, getting crucified, cancel culture online. Because my followers are online. Like Mark Zuckerberg's country is online, but it affects people in real life. And I can become rich, I can become successful, but if I can influence people, that is more powerful to me. The person that convinces you that money is real, that's the person with the real power, because they have control over your mind.
Now, you're saying you want to enter monopolies and...
Is this you interviewing me now? So we're supposed to speak about my book, education, innovation.
That's where I'm going.
Okay.
You're talking about entering spaces, right? Entering spaces where there's not much competition, but then there's thousands of religions. Here you are, well, you're talking about entering space that's not explored as much. And we know that religion, well, you're saying that you're implying that since it's not being explored a lot in the African context, you decided, wait a minute, I can't get the amount of money that Zuckerberg has, that all these billionaires have.
Yeah.
But let me enter in as a religious figure.
Yeah.
Right? Just briefly explain, what's the difference between someone believing in you, right, or believing in you being God, and someone who's inspired by you? Because we know that Khutman, and I know he's watching, he's inspired by you to do the 365-day challenge.
Sure.
Right? You may call it, hey, I've converted, he's my pendulist. But for me, it's inspiration. As he said, I've been inspired by you.
Yeah.
Penuel, I've been inspired by you. So what's the difference between belief and inspiration?
English. Language. Mm-hmm. So, my life goal, I believe our purpose is to just keep ourselves busy till we die and to try and keep this rubbish species called human beings alive. Everything else is noise. I want to be a billionaire, I want to build this thing, that is just to feel like you're stimulated and I want to find the love of my life. It's just keeping busy till you die. My goal, my keeping myself busy till I die, I decided, is to colonize as many minds as possible.
You said that.
Yeah.
Why the use of the word colonize? Why not inspire?
Yeah.
Why the word colonize? I
Yeah.
think that's where Twitter is hammering. They're hammering at you.
They're crucifying me.
Yeah, tearing you apart.
Say crucify.
No, I'm not going to say that. I will, because but why the word colonize? Why not inspire? Why choose a word that is used in history as, well, it's not even used. I mean, realistically speaking, unrealistically, factually speaking, people have been killed all under the agenda of colonization. So why using the word of, is it to attract attention?
No.
Or is it, why use the word colonize? I'm colonizing minds.
I spoke about the land Natural resources, the animals,
Yes.
beauty of the mountains, the
Yes.
ocean. After all of that, then there's human beings, which are what I believe is wealth. But it's not so much the physical body, it's more the mind. Because the biggest difference, arguably, between us and other animals is our minds. We can conquer lions and elephants and giraffe because of our minds. Once we realized that our minds were powerful, I don't know how far back, there has been a war for minds. And different people have used different tools. Money is the most popular tool today because that's the tool that gets people's minds to get their bodies to do whatever. It's what led to slavery, colonization, and all these things, money. Religion was another amazing tool. Fame, social media, etc. A lot of these things and the mind, and one of the differences between us and animals is language. Once you can figure out that language is one of the most diabolical tools, religion does not exist without language. The concept of money does not exist without language. Nations, the law, what is a crime, story, your passion, does not exist without language. Animals have got their own languages, body language, sounds, but they haven't built a complex language like us, which allows us to go back in time and parallel. What do I mean by that? An animal will try and find food and location based on instinct and built up inherited way of moving. We have the ability as a blank canvas, as a child from whatever township, to visit the past, Leonardo da Vinci, Jesus Christ, Prophet Muhammad, Buddha, across the world in America and China. We've got an ability with language to connect. You can take a menu and devise a cake. You've never even seen it or heard it. You can take a script and create a story. You can read a textbook and now you're proficient in science and language.
Yes.
So to be honest, God, because I've played around with this concept of God is, or money is God. That's why I say Penuel is God, because I'm trying to compete with the different tools of mind control. Language. Now, when you ask about belief and inspire, and you asked earlier about, but there's a lot of religions. I could ask anyone, how many people do you know in your life that are trying to build a belief system? Never mind that there's thousands of religions. How many people do you know? Most people almost know no one. You might know surgeons. You might know a judge. You might know an actuary. You might even know a rocket scientist. But how many people do you know that are currently building a belief system? Almost none. So that becomes unique in itself. Belief inspire colonization. How many people do you know that inspire others? A lot. Oh, I'm so inspired. But how many people do you know who are like, no, I didn't inspire them, I converted them? And with language, there's funny terms. Again, I use Jesus and the followers, Twitter and followers. We have got what's called influencers, which sounds like a name, but it's a huge name. Because Jesus was an influencer, and arguably one of the biggest influencers of all time, because look at how many followers he has. Look at how influential he has been. I choose belief over inspire because everyone inspires, and I don't want to inspire.
But why?
In that. It is inspiration.
It's inspiration.
But it's just language.
But then the word,
Again, colonize. I know when I use the word colonize, because I know the power of language, and I know that depending on the type of Zulu man you are, if I say Itagazelo Zagini, I disarm you. If I get to a certain woman, I'm like, oh my gosh, she's so beautiful. I've never seen such a language. I could have come to him and be like, hey, fucking hoe, why are you? Now she's angry. I'm like, you Zulus are so, now you, like, I have power over your emotion. I can win you or lose you, or I sat with Joshua Maponga at his home, and I was like, you have a lot of followers and you're very influential across the African continent. You come from 30 years of Seventh-day Adventist as a bishop, as a pastor, preacher. Why not create your own belief system in African spirituality? Because he's created farmers of thought, which is getting Africans to think, to play around with ideas and concepts. The Sankofa going back into the past to find solutions that we can use into. Why not create your own belief system? You can be a Moses. You don't have to be a Jesus. You can be a Moses and lead people to a mental promised land and say,
freedom.
You guys were mentally colonized by the British and all these other people, and I will take you from the Egyptians, being the British, and I will take you to the promised land of where we were in paradise. The way we live, the way we raise our kids, the way we eat, etc. And he said to me at the time, and this is why he came up with Farmers of Thought, he was like, the mind of the African has been so contaminated and so polluted and so eroded that if you try and plant seeds now, they won't grow. So I can plant, I can be the Moses, but Harriet Tubman, I will try and free the slaves and they will swear at me. We're not slaves, you're the slave. You're stupid. Why would I want to leave my nice house and my money to come and be a caveman like you? So he said some of the work we have to do is we have to farm and soften the minds so that when people like you, Pen, come in future, you can plant and things just grow.
So what you're trying to do is you're trying to cultivate the land or plow.
Me or him?
Well, Joshua Mabonga and yourself.
He is softly trying to water. I'm hitting it with a pick.
So you hit
I'm going to this eroded cement land and I'm mooring the fuck out of it. Why? Because when you study history, for me, and my heroes, the people that when I'm trumping, it's about Vince McMahon. You know, is it Vince McMahon? I spoke about Vincent van Gogh. Anyways.
Yeah, it's Vincent van Gogh, but we have Vincent McMahon because it's WWE, right?
So when I look at the people that have been the most influential in colonizing minds, which is my wish, it is the people that have done it in the most brutal ways. So I am not at the highest level, like the British Empire, which is why we're speaking English today and why we dress a certain way and why we, But I think there's a way to almost be as brutal with the mind, which I haven't even started and people aren't aware. So I choose to use colonize instead of influence, inspire. I would like to motivate. No, this is not a religion. No, I'm not God. I'm just trying to, which is what a lot of these other guys do in colonizing minds. They come with peace. Vote for me, better future. Don't you want a better life? Let's try and, I am hitting you in such an aggressive way that your mind is rebelling and retaliating. What miracles can you do? And I'm like, I am destabilizing you. This is what colonizing is now. It's not me coming friendly and letting you welcome me into your brain, because that is a space that is saturated. Do I go on TikTok or Twitter? Right now I'm trying to be God, and it becomes this situation where if I succeed, who am I competing with? You tell me. If I effectively colonize one person and they're like, Penuel is my God, who am I competing with? And you meet someone and you ask them, who is God? And they're like, it's obvious. Penuel, he's the Alpha and the Omega, he's the beginning, he's the creator of all things. Who am I competing with? This is not a rhetorical question.
So you're obviously competing with existing religion, which is...
No, not religion. I'm talking about God. Religion is just a...
Yeah, well, now you're competing with what people regard as God.
Who is that? Who are those people?
Many religions. Of course, we're looking at Allah, we're looking at Jesus.
No, so the Abrahamic ones, the Jewish faith, Islam, Christian are the same. So those are Abraham,
those are
one
Abraham's.
God.
Yeah, but you actually, not many, and I'll give you that, not many.
The British were fighting with the French on the continent.
Yes.
Got a lot of French colonies, a lot of British, a few Portuguese.
Yes.
But that's who they were competing with. I'm competing with these 1,000-year-old creations. And if I succeed, ngiba injembi, ngiba motherfucker. Because people can say everything, but Isaiah Shembe, Isonto Lama Nazareta, Ulikhanyani, ZCC, I'm not even competing with those guys. I'm going to like the source of what you believe is your existence and your driving force. I don't know people that are doing that, and that makes me the highest level of crazy, where if you think you're crazy, you're still playing games.
I'm still playing with those papers.
I must be fucking locked up. I should be crucified. People must shut me down because That's what I'm going for. Because if I get it right, when someone says money, religion, church, but the government says, I will be like, your belief system is me, and I will tell you what's right and what's wrong.
So you are a god, right? That's what you say. Even on your about now, it's written God of Penulus. And I look at that every time I scroll down, like look for context. I'm like,
It's a bit disturbing, no?
yeah, no, I wouldn't say disturbing.
Do you know what people say to me now, which is
It's not disturbing.
quite cute?
What do
They
you
say, you're not God with a capital G, you're God with a small g. And I'm like, that's cool for me, because
At least you.
I'm like an algorithm, constantly learning and things. So you're willing to call me God if I just change the. That's first. Like you're giving me the clues of how to colonize you. But Ben, why don't you just say inspire? I'm like, so you want me to do something? You're already entertaining me. If I'd said that, it would have been lost with everyone else being inspired. But I shone out because I said, and you're like, what the fuck?
You know, as you're speaking, I see that, you know, you see yourself as God. You just explained why you're entering the space. You're explaining all of this. Now my question is, because when you call yourself a God and you come out, there's some questions. We question God. Allow me to question you now, because my team will know that I grill. And I grill the fuck out of people. 3 things, or 3, you're going to talk about your book, The Rise and Fall. And I believe that we need to talk a lot about business and your failure within business and any other failures you see in life. You claim and deem yourself to be God, but yet you're a God that has failed. As blunt as that sounds,
Just be as blunt as it sounds?
you've failed. Right. I have failed. I'm not God. I'm coming to you. Penuel. Penuel tells me, oh, no, I've failed. Walk us through your failures. You failed building your business. You don't really talk a lot about your failures, and I
don't. I think I talk about them all the time.
Not all the time, but you talk about them, you mention them.
Yeah.
But the most that you talk about is the relationship, the failures within relationships and your romantic partners with mama of your beautiful kids, 6 kids. Well, yeah, 6, right?
Yeah.
Confirmed, right?
6 confirmed.
Perfect.
Abantu on Twitter keep giving me extra kids I don't know about. Now I'm with 8 kids from 8 baby mamas. I'm like, hey,
yeah. So then, walk us through your failures, because here you are now, you upcoming, you're rising, people are coming here on the platform. I know the whole section about God, I know we spoke about, a little bit about my life, but I also want to talk about your failures. And I also want to talk about the other things that people are questioning you, because I see it on the sidelines. You know, I'm always on your WhatsApp, hello Uncle P, are you good, you know? For me, what makes me like you is the fact that what we relate on is your bravery. Just getting your phone out and speaking. Not trying to be fancy, hey, lights, camera, no, you just rip out your phone. That to me, that you're not colonizing my mind, you inspire me.
Sure.
Right? You inspire me, no, be braver, because I already was brave. Please be brave enough to disclose your failures. For those that may not know, you became a millionaire, and then you lost it all. Back in the time, and I could see, man, you were going through it. You know?
I did at some point. I've been depressed 3 times in my life. A God that gets depressed?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Depressed.
Yeah.
Were you depressed because you've lost money, face papers? Were you depressed because of what reason? Why were you depressed?
Let me tackle the God thing as a failure and the fact that I'm human. And I'm human, I've made mistakes, I've got children, I'm here. Let me tackle that alone, and then we can do. I'm lucky that you are Christian, and I'm lucky that I can reference Christianity. A lot of the questions people have for me, there are so many references to the Bible and Christianity. That's why I said, if you're a Christian, You should actually look at me almost as like the return of Christ. I say this.
Blasphemy.
Sorry?
Blasphemy.
Yes, blasphemy.
Blasphemous. I have to tell you that, no, because in Christianity, you have to call you out. Because, like, if we don't actually call you out in your sins, or rebuke you, it's quite bad. So, yeah, I've said it. Blasphemy.
Sure.
At least you know now. In case it's Judgment Day, I told you.
Yeah, but you also entertained me, which is...
Christ entertained sinners too.
He did.
He did. And he actually said in James, in the Bible, well, he did not say, don't hate what you don't understand. That's why I'm here.
Don't hate what you don't understand.
Just don't hate it because you don't get it.
Okay.
So with you
failing... Yeah, now the blasphemy is about to start.
Let's
so
go.
I hope you're ready.
Let's go.
The reason I left Christianity, which I'm happy with now, and the only reason I love Abrahamic religions now is because I don't take them seriously. It's because they're now fictional. I cried watching Avengers Infinity War and Avengers Endgame, and I built a very strong bond with a character named Thanos, who's the villain, and who becomes one of the greatest villains of all time to date, because the way the story was told made people watching question whether he really was a villain or not, because his intentions were noble. He realized that there was suffering in the world and he wanted to stop it, and he came up with an answer, and his answer happened to be at the cost of killing half of existence in the universe. So it becomes very tragic, and at the end of Infinity War, he succeeds. And a lot of people get angry that this guy succeeded in wiping out half of civilization. I grew to love Thanos and his desire to help and whatever it was. In Endgame, obviously, he gets killed, etc. I asked myself, how can I build such a strong emotional bond with fictional characters? Thanos, Captain America, Iron Man, Spider-Man, the Hulk. These are fictional characters. And I was like, but why can't I do that with the Bible, the Quran, the Torah? Because I get angry at reading these books saying, this can't be real. And that makes me anti those things. Whereas if I see Jesus as an avenger, and I see God as a Thanos, I'm more willing to accept. Samson, Solomon, Noah, Moses, these are like, it's like a comic to me. The Christian God, with the civilization and education we've been indoctrinated into, is so highly flawed, which is what made me leave Christianity. Drowning the world with the floods, Noah. Murdering the firstborn sons of Egyptians because they won't release the Israelites. Arm wrestling with Satan over Job and causing Job so much pain. Sending his only son to get crucified by the world. This cannot be a good being. And when people are going to call me out on a business failure compared to someone who drowned the world that he created because the people are no longer licking his toes. What kind of a God is that? What kind of a loving God is that? No, but it's the Old Testament. Fuck. You want to tell me Old Testament, New Testament so that your story holds water? That's bullshit to me. But if I don't take it literally, I'm like, look, God realized the world was going in a bad direction. He realized this is the best thing. He gave Noah directive. Noah tried to tell the people, guys, this is what's happening, and people didn't listen. Moses tried to free the Israelites, and the Egyptians were not listening, so he was like, look, I need to... But I'm like, so that guy couldn't defeat his own creation, who is supposedly the devil, and he had to send his own son to go and die, and his son had to beg him, forgive them, Father. What kind of a father are you who has to forgive his own kids because they are exercising the free will you've given them?
So you seeing God, that's what made you leave Christianity, because of those moments in history, those moments where he had to do all those things?
No, I left Christianity because my understanding of Christianity is you need to accept and embrace and acknowledge Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior,
Savior.
who died for your sins, so that you can live in eternal life. And you need to believe in him. You need to believe in Jesus Christ as your Savior so that you can enter the doors of heaven. And for me, that is the base of Christianity. Never mind the whole Bible. Never mind the concept of God. You need to believe in Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior. Similarly, if you are Muslim, you have to obviously believe in Allah, but you have to believe in his Prophet Muhammad as the embodiment of what a good Muslim lives according to their principles. So I could not accept that Jesus Christ is my Lord and Savior. I'm like, I have not sinned. Yes, but I'm like, no. So for that reason, in reading the Bible, I was like, it would be wrong of me to go out into the world and say I'm a Christian but I'm lying because I'm not legit.
Speaking of legitimacy, I am still questioning you about the business failures. Comfortably speak about your failures in business, and then we are going to tap into also your relationship with the Nods. Because I believe that too is now seen right now as a current failure. But then I call it a testing of a professional relationship, as I said in the message, right? Yeah. But right now it's regarded as that. There's some failures that people regard, especially with the situation of the questioning of your legitimacy coming from when you did that interview with Bianca Costa.
Yeah.
Talking about Chris Excel. Some people say a lot. That's why I just want you to clear the air, but in a conversational format.
Yeah.
Your failures.
I apologize to all Christians, Muslims, Jews, Buddhists, Hindus, people that have a belief system, because I've had to learn that for many people it is the core of their existence. I can only speak about my experience and why I left Christianity and why I believe I'm God and why I'm doing what I'm doing. They don't have to agree with me. If anything, if they are strong in their faith, they shouldn't even entertain me. I think they normally get upset because clearly something is being touched somewhere. A lot of Muslims, when they hear me speak, they don't get touched. It's Christians that speak on behalf of Muslims. You can't say that. I'm like, my Islamic friends are chilled, bro, because they're like, I read my Quran, I'm happy with my relationship with Allah. Whatever you believe, bro, is your thing. Kind of situation. So it's whatever. And for Black Africans in particular, the way Christianity was introduced to them is already another conversation. But that's for people. This is my story. But I understand that this is people's belief systems, and I need them to know that I respect that they believe in what they believe in. Full stop. But I'm going to speak my truth. And if it upsets them, I'm sorry, but I will not stop. But they must carry on believing in what they believe in. I leave my business failures for last, I think. Okay. Oh, I wanted to speak about Millionaire. Categorically, on the record, I would like to not speak about Nota. I believe Nota is a very intelligent guy, great following. A lot of people like him. A lot of people are his fans. In terms of me and him and what's transpired, people have seen some of the stuff on social media. On the record, I don't want to speak about him. Full stop. On the situation of Bianca Costa, I met Bianca, I think 2014, 15. Amazing young woman from Eswatini. I met her family. We sat and we spoke. And I don't care what people are going to say on social media. Chris Excel needs to stop using that lady's picture. She has asked. Other people's pictures are used. They do not ask. They do not say, this is how you have affected my life. She has asked. I would not have sat with Bianca if I didn't know her. Hey, Penuel, look, I want to address something. Can I come on your platform? I get those requests all the time. I don't do that because I know Bianca personally. So it's the least I could do for her. I hope it happens. If it doesn't happen, it's fine. We tried. But this speaks to the character of Chris Excel, speaks to the people, the character of the people that support him. And it's cute now until it happens to you. It's cute now until you get flooded. Whatever that looks like, metaphorically, figuratively, in your life, then it's a whatever it is. I hope it changes, man. I care about Bianca and I want her to be very successful, and I believe she's talented and deserves the world, like so many other people that are done wrong. And I was hoping that through her story, other people would, to what you're saying about bravery, they would be like, actually, I've been wanting to say something, maybe not even about that, about something else. I've been wanting to address this person, I've been wanting to, etc. I'm a human being living a human experience. I'm 37 years old in the world terms. I am trying to figure things out. I make mistakes. I do great things. I meet amazing people. I think I influence people in a positive way. I try to educate. I call it colonizing. You use the word inspire. To be fully honest, I'm actually trying to liberate. So it's funny. It's like we were colonized by the British as Africans. And if I were to say I want to colonize Africans, people would be upset. But if you were to look at my value offering, you might find that I'm trying to actually free Africans back to a way that is more conducive.
Sorry, I have to ask this question because, man, it's burning in my mind. And I know that many people have been saying this on, please clear the air. Do you see black people as lesser than? You've said in your video, you're like, yo, you guys have been conquered. You are telling us all of these things. You're talking about God. We are the majority. We're majority of the people that actually listen to your content. Mm-hmm. But yet you're telling me that I'm conquered. Mm-hmm. So do you see black people as lesser than?
Lesser than what?
Whatever. Oh. Like they lesser than other races? Not historically speaking, but from you, do you see us as less than?
Language defines a lot of our existence. And when you study language and you study history and you look at the real world, there are categorizations of existence. Someone is taller than someone else. Someone is fatter than someone else. Someone is richer than someone else. In the modern world, we all have agreed to certain worldly principles and definitions. I am black, you are white. I'm not black. The whole world is kind of agreed. So in that world, having money, having control over your land, having control over your sense of identity have been defined as a form of power. When you look at black Africans historically and today, it looks like they are trying to uplift themselves. And if you look at the race of upliftment, black people are probably at the bottom of that race. The Chinese, the Indians are also in a similar race, but they seem to be further ahead. So white people, white supremacy seems to be at the top. So a lot of people don't like it and they feel it's oppressive. So if we're going to use a comparison level, less than, lesser than, according to society, not me, it seems black people have accepted that they are lesser than and they are trying to uplift themselves. So when I say it, I am not saying something that I concocted. It's something that people generally believe in. They'll speak about Africa as a poor country, we're suffering, we want our land back. As soon as you say, it's like women. Women are lesser than men, not because I believe so. It's because women are saying that. It's because they're saying there is patriarchy and misogyny, and we want equality. So they paint themselves as we are here, we want what you have. So if I was to say something like that, it's not me making it up, it's what people are saying. In terms of conquered, it's English. And I only use that because I feel like a lot of black Africans have kind of just accepted that this is the song. This is the song. We want our land back. Hey, white monopoly capital. I'm like, you realize at least 30 years on from apartheid, we're still singing the same song. I'm like, something has to change. So I use the word conquered instead of stolen because clearly with this word stolen, we're not getting anywhere. And I was hoping when you use this word conquered, which it sort of has done, it gets people to shake and be uncomfortable. And I'm like, when you understand conquered, it means you have to accept that you were defeated somewhere. And if you are unhappy with that, you have to do something about that. And if you're not willing to do something about that, and you'd rather focus on the word, you're doing nothing but reaffirming what you guys are kind of showing. Because what happened to the Jews with Nazi Germany, they kind of accepted there was genocide, we were gassed. And if someone were to say that, they said, we will, and there's a term that Jews use, never again. Never again will we be conquered, defeated. Why? And they've done something about it. They're not saying, why do you say there was genocide? It wasn't genocide? Why do you say our Like, really? It makes me sad because a lot of people that know my heart know it comes from a good place and I'm trying to do the right thing. The people that say we support your stuff, I've said before as well that black people are not a monolith. We're not homogenous, we're so different. A lot of black people that follow my stuff understand me, support me, like me. They may disagree with a lot of the stuff, which is normal, and I appreciate it because it means your brain is functional and you're not just singing whatever song that everyone else is singing. It makes me happy. The first principle of Penuelism is own your mind, which is kind of contradictory to Penuel is God. You're like, I like you, dog, but fuck that. I'm like, you sound like a Penuelist, which is like, what the fuck? And you're like,
That's
yeah.
reverse psychology.
It's too dope.
I just see your religion as reverse psychology, to be honest.
I am trying to colonize people because I'm actually trying to free them from oppression. Mm-hmm. Some get it, some don't, and it's okay. I do not believe when 20 black people say, don't use the word conquered, they speak for all black people. There are many black people who have said, thank you. You're actually right. There are some black people like, yo, I've never thought of it like that. There are some black people that say, fuck you. And the beauty of it is, I am almost a case study to show that black people are not the same, and it's okay. I'm a case study for black people who are going to say, I'm unsubscribing. And some are going to be like, fuck, thanks, dog, I'm subscribing. Stop forcing us to be one thing, because we're not. Because as long as you force us to be one thing, there are black people who call themselves leaders, who are rich, who have a lot of land, who are friends with your past oppressors, who go around telling you black unity. And then you sing the song, and then you want to ask me what is a cult and what's not. And I'm trying to tell you, go get your land in these ways. But why did you say conquered? I'm like, that's what your brain wants to entertain. I am moving with the people who are going to get land. Those are the people I'm going to focus on. And the rest of you can stay squabbling and cancel culture and call me names. And I'm chilled because you are not ready. And you speak to what Joshua Maponga speaks about. The rest of us are moving. And it's okay. That's all. The majority of the people that watch my content, the majority of the people that support me and love me, the majority of the people that fund the work I do, paying members, donate money to me are black people. That does not force me to go around and love all black people. Because I can spin that around and say, the people that have hijacked me, the people that have held me at gunpoint, the people that raped my cousins, the people that killed were black people. Therefore, I hate all black people. That's stupid. And anyone who thinks like that is not ready for liberation, and they must stay wherever the fuck they are. The rest of us are moving. And a lot of the black people that support me are like, Pen, ignore those fuckers. And I'm like, thank you. Because they get it. But on the other end, there are white people that fucking hate me. People won't know that because they don't even follow those people. They don't care. There are white people that love me. And I focus on those people because I'm like, guys, we're going somewhere. We're going to the promised land. We're going to we're going wherever we are going. And we're going to win. And those people have got their own people and things they follow, and they must do that. As long as they are happy, I'm chilled. But if they're landless, miserable, poor, and instead of holding accountability to themselves and their leaders, they choose to crucify me because it's convenient, I'll forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do or what they say.
You know, sake of time, I really wish we can, of course, sit down again.
Yeah.
Because you're very passionate. I know you came to actually grill me.
No, I didn't come to grill you. I think we had a lekker interview session at the beginning.
Right.
And you've introduced yourself to the world, at least some of the people in my world,
Yeah.
I think in a beautiful way.
And thank you so much. Thank you. Again, also taking time out. You literally, this was your idea actually. You were like, yo, I wanted you been pushing me, and I'm grateful for that. But I really want us next time to have a chat in depth where we actually talk in depth about your failures, the books, and
it's your fault. I want people to know it's your fault. You asked me, I tried to answer, you kept jumping in. It's your fault.
Well, you asked me to be informal.
Yeah.
You did ask me to be informal, because if I was formal, I would have told you like, all right, so let's just look to the next topic.
I've written a book which touches on my depression, speaks about my failures. It's there. So the conversation we're going to have is going to be around that.
I have to, because I believe that there's meat, there's some sauce, but also definitely, man, your viral episode, the first time you went viral on the Penuel Show. Well, it's not the first time, but number speaking currently, the Wusim Maguire interview. And I know that in the think tank group chat, they call me Squirrel, sing about clip. They call me because I did a voice note once, and they're like, "Why is this guy trying to sound like Wusim Maguire?" I know this is how I speak in general, but I'm grateful. Thank you so much for pulling through, being my second guest in an interview setting. Even though this was not an interview, rather a conversation with Penuel, the Black Pen.
Are you shutting it down?
Yes.
So yes, me and him had an amazing conversation, and I'm very thankful, grateful. But more than anything, the guy is a big star. It's as simple as that. When you look at the caliber of people I've had, he might be the most popular person. So the numbers sort of speak to that, in my opinion, in my humble opinion. But the conversation was pretty dope. I think there's a whole lot of other dope episodes there, but he's a big star.
Man, one more question. One more. DOP, director of photography. Do you see yourself as a star in the making?
Yes. In the interest of time, yes. There's a long answer, but yes.
Because I would definitely like to talk to you, man, again, because you unpacked, I think you really unpacked on religion, but I would like us to really unpack.
It's going to upset people, and I understand. And
yeah.
I apologize to them. I wanted to say earlier that I used to be a passionate atheist when I left Christianity after I read the Bible, and these days I don't entertain talks on religion because I've seen how sensitive it is for people.
Very.
And I appreciate it. So I tend to, when people ask, I'm like, I don't think so. But when they badger, I'm like, if you're genuinely asking, I will genuinely answer. You may not like it, but this is my truth. But this is not meant to shake your beliefs. It's because you insisted. If you are happy, thriving, good health, good spiritual health, your family is sort of doing okay, you're on a good journey, don't look to the sides. A lot of us begin questioning religion, culture, because we are not quite happy.
I have this concept that it literally came to my mind, that umdeni is umsamo ophilayo, is what I call it. I call umdeni umsamo wako. You burn incense, it's no different than you talking to your mom and trying to appease and ask for things.
Umdeni is family.
Family.
You're saying they are living ancestors.
They're living umsamo. Umdeni should actually be called umsamo pilai, I believe.
Yeah. Is that a question?
Now I'm
sorry.
It's not a question, but I would like us to actually unpack that thing that came up in my mind, like umdeni umsamo, right? And I would like to say that to many people, to many creatives out there, your family may not be of blood. It may be people that you meet.
I'm glad you said that, because I wanted to say.
And umsamo wako shuti igodlo. It may be a wrong thing that I'm saying right now, but that's what I believe. And njengamanje, there's many people that are about to meet and discuss this, and it's sandisi igodlo.
Yeah.
As I would call it, because umdeni umsamo.
Back in the day, family shared geography.
Yeah.
They shared belief systems. They shared diet. They shared work, because you'd work at home for your family, so you wouldn't be working somewhere else. And more than anything, they shared values. The reason our blood relatives today are no longer our family, because we generally don't share these things: geography, belief systems, values. And where we are today, if you want to thrive, define your values and your belief systems, and then go and find what we call your tribe. Go find your tribe and go build with them. And that's one of the messages I'm very big on. If you find someone that you like, I think Leeso no pen bahlanya, but I think I've got the same insanity they have, you're probably part of our tribe. You're curious, you ask questions, you challenge, it gets uncomfortable, you smile, but you know your heart is in the right place, and you're trying to help liberate, help people live better. Go find your tribe, bro. Go find your family. Those become your living ancestors, and they should ignite you. yeah, but you know, family, batagata, you know, they won't give you funding, you know, they won't support you. That is not your family. Go find your family.
And thank you so much for coming through. I just want to say that this conversation, as hard as it was, you know, you touched on religion. Of course, I do not agree with a lot of what you say, especially with the colonization, because of history. And religion is a very sensitive topic. I think I pushed the envelope for my channel. And let's have these conversations, have these dialogues. And again, thank you so much to the people that even allowed us to be here, 031. My team, thank you so much to them. Like, honestly, like...
Give a shout out to the guys, please.
Yeah, man.
No, like each of them. I think we have time.
Shout out to OG.
OG?
Okay,
OG does what?
He's a production coordinator.
Shout out to OG, the production coordinator.
Yeah, he also did camera today.
Dope.
Shout out to Kuli. He's my director of photography for today. The original one is Musa.
DOP. Musa's not here.
Yeah, Musa's not here.
So we've got Kuli.
So Kuli.
Director of photography. DOP.
And shout out to Undu, Black Metallic.
Ndu.
Yes.
Dope.
For him rolling the cameras. And also shout out to my fam.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Thank you for being vulnerable about your family. I have a lot of questions, but I decided to let it go. I think it's a thing. But thank you. It's tricky, but I appreciate it. But it shows the impact they have in your life, including your father. That becomes another conversation that we'll have. Anyways, sorry. Your father is strengthening you. He forces you to be stronger in your convictions. It's a weird thing. We'll talk about it another time.
I just want to build a community, man. And I just want to make sure creativity is something. And I hope that everyone saw what taking a risk looks like. And thank you for believing in me.
I do.
You know,
I met you, it was at the beachfront.
Yeah, beachfront. We met it under a tree.
Yeah.
Our first link up happened under a
That's a JC moment. That's a Jesus Christ moment.
That's a Jesus Christ moment. I thought about
it.
One day.
You'll become a believer.
Now here we are.
But your voice, you spoke about your accent and you explained, and I appreciate it, but I was like, I listened to you, and this is a teachable moment for a lot of people. Showing up is very important, because maybe I have something of value. You may hate me, but you've seen that I sit with certain people, and maybe it's not me you want, maybe you want someone else. But you showed up. You made yourself heard. You were visible. I think you were the only person that got into the circle and walked around and spoke to everyone, which made you unique. You spoke about the work you do. You spoke about your dreams. I was just like, okay, sure, because it happens. It's normal. And then you took initiative. And you pushed, and you stayed in contact. And when we spoke about working, you and I have tried to put events together, with the calendar and those things, but you've constantly been forthcoming and pushing, and that's very important. It speaks, going back to the origin, the genesis of this conversation of dream and whatever it takes and the cost, dala what you must. You've constantly done that, and when I find that in people, I need to help them out. I have to, because this person is pushing against nature and whatever, and they're saying, I want something. And if I don't help you, if I don't get out of your way, if I don't assist, I do a disservice to humanity. So I'm hoping that this, with the crew, is the beginning of something beautiful, and we need to light each other's candles, find each other as a tribe, and carry on doing transformative work. In future, kids must speak about us as if like, apparently they sat on podcasts, and that doesn't even sound real. The guy said he didn't even have money, but it sounded like he was doing dope shit. You're like, how? They're lying.
I know you want to ask those, but I believe, man. I believe.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate you. Let's do this again.
No, thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much.